Hello and welcome to my new video. Today I'll be having a look at the real grade Unicorn Gundam 03 Phenex narrative version. This is in its lovely gold plating and pretty much like all of the other real grade Gundam Unicorn variants, they're very nice kits. The transformation on these ones is not too bad. There's a few sort of sections, especially on the leg, that can tend to pop out. And the main difference between this and the Unicorn and Banshee variants is being with the special gold coating. Some of the parts are a bit slippery, so some of the parts do tend to come off or come loose a little bit more. So that's just something to be a bit careful of. So we're just going to have a look at it on here. So let me just remove it from its stand. Where there you have with the shield bits on the back. So this gold is really shiny. It looks really nice, this kit. One of those sort of kits you don't mind having just on display. Even though it is a small kit, it does tend to draw a lot of attention with the gold. Yeah. As you can tell, I'm just using some gloves while I'm handling this one, just because it tends to mark up with fingerprints so quickly. Yeah, I'm lucky I've got this one and most of my Gundam kits stored in a cabinet, a sealed cabinet, just to avoid any extra dust. So in this kit we get a few extras, but not too many. So you get your beam magnum on this one, just like with the real grade Unicorn. You have the removable clip and then just slide it back in. You've then got the little handle which just comes out, and it's all got it attached with the hand as well, with the beam holding hand. You then get your two beams for the beam saber, so in that nice blue, which matches in with the frame of the model as well. Okay, well, I'm just going to transform this into destroy mode and then we'll take a look at some of the articulation. Okay, and here we have the Phenex Gundam in its destroy mode. It's not too bad of a process. I'll just show you some of the areas that can be a bit of a fiddle. So on the legs section here, this bit can come loose and unpops itself every now and then. So just something to be careful of when you're actually posing it. Okay, on the knee joints, these sections here will come out, and then you can then just push them away by lifting this up and then pulling them back out again, down like this here, and then just lock them into position, just like that. Those are the main sections that I find are the more awkward bits to do with this one. Everything else is quite easy just to do. The head itself isn't too much of a problem. You've just got to do a bit of a parts transformation on it just to swap out a few sections of the head. So let's have a little look at some of the, so with the head, it does go around mostly, just got to be a little bit careful, it can tend to pop up out. And with the, on the backpack, it's on just like a little slot, so you just slide it into place, so when you're moving it about, just be careful you don't knock it up like that too much. Okay, so with the shoulders, they're on a slightly separate piece, but doesn't move up loads. The beam saber sort of mounting point on the back of the arm does block the arm from going up all the way, but you can get it up quite high, which isn't too bad. You've got a nice rotation at the top of the arm, which will go all the way around. You then got your double jointed elbow, and then you have your hand, which is just on a ball joint Not too much movement on this one, just because of the way how deep it goes down into the actual model itself. But it does help when it's actually holding weapons, so it doesn't feel like it's going to drop or anything. Okay. Now have a look at the side skirts and the waist unit. So this is just on small hinge, just to get it up out of the way so it goes up quite high. And on the front skirts, come up just on a ball joint, and that is the same on the back. Comes up quite high out of the way just to get that nice bit of movement. Then you have these thrusters on the back, which do tend to close up, especially if you're moving it around and trying to pose it. So just when you're finished posing, just have a look at that and just finish that off afterwards if you need to. One other section, just forgot to open up. It is here, and then lift that out, and that just extends there. So onto the leg articulation. Rotates all the way around at the top. You then got the double leg bend, which is not the worst one you'll see. Really good for a unicorn kit. Then down to the ankles. So you haven't got probably as much movement as you'd like on the ankles. It does tend to get a bit obstructed by the sections here. You do have a bit of movement down and then up, and small bit of, it's not really a toe in, it's just part of the transformation where the toe will just dip down once you've extended the heels. Oh, and there's one piece gone from underneath. I'll reattach that after. I say some of the parts on this one can be a bit loose, and they do tend to fall off, especially when they're attached and against any of the golden plated parts. So onto the backpack. Normal backpack with the pretty much standard as you'd see on any of the other unicorn kits. So just the beam sabers here, which you can just take off, put back on. I just try to position them so with these ones, because they're all one piece, you've just got to be a bit careful how you display them, because being the gold plated, some of them will show up with the nub marks, and there's not much you can really do about that. Most of the kit itself is undergated, so you don't have much to worry about. There's a few sections, especially when it's in unicorn mode, that you will notice, but depending on how you pose it, you won't have much to worry about with how it looks. I think the rest of the gold will detract away from that itself as well. So there we have it. Okay, so now let's have a look at the second part of the backpack, which makes the Phenex a bit more unique with the narrative version. So here we have the armed armour DEs here, and there's quite a bit of articulation onto these, but to start with, this is how they look in its unicorn mode, and I will just transform this out and I'll let you see it in destroy mode. And here we now have the armed armour DE units in their destroy mode. As you can see, that blue really sort of shines through quite nicely and really does catch the light. There's a lot of silver stickers behind some of those sections, so it just helps to reflect them out a little bit nicely. And on here there is quite a bit of articulation. So starting on the first joint, sort of in and out, then up, down, then around, and then stops here. So it keeps it into that position there. Then you have in and out again, and then you have a rotation on the top by the shields themselves. So then move on to the tail sections. Just position it there. So these are on like a double wire, so when you make these you have a little wire you fold over and you just thread it all the way through, so it has a nice sort of hold to it and can get quite a few different poses and holds nicely. Now let's have a quick look at it with the weapons attached before I attach the rest of the backpack. So here you have Beam Magnum. Just let me take it off the stand for a minute. Okay. So it holds it really well. There's no dropping. It's quite a light weapon, so you don't have anything to worry about. You can get full range of motion out of that. And then you have the beam saber, which I've just got it attached on its tonfa form on the back of the arm. And then you can remove the beam saber from there as well if you wish, and then you can actually attach it into the arm with one of the hands equipped, and then you just pop it back on just like so. So now let's move on to having a look with the backpack attached. So on the back of the unit there's just a small peg, and you can just slot that right in. Just move these out and there. And there you have it with the shields attached to the arm armours. And as I say, with the posability of these, you can have them coming all the way over, and you can create pretty much an array of poses with this one just to match it up with the anime for any specific poses you may have in mind. But there you go. I will just put it back onto the stand, just like so. Definitely recommend a stand with this one, just as the rear wing actual sections, they are a bit heavy, so it does have a tendency just to fall over if you've got it on its feet. And there you have it. There's the Phenex in a shooting pose with its armor DAs, just sort of a bit tilted, one to the front, one to the back, with beam saber outstretched. I have to say, this kit, really nice kit to build, but definitely worth taking your time with it, especially with the gold plating. You're going to want just to be a bit careful with when you clip this off the runners. Most of the bits are undergated, so it makes it quite a nice, easy kit for the most part. I would say if you are interested in this kit and you don't mind spending the money to pick one of these up, go straight ahead. If you're not too keen on the price point of this, you can have a look at the high grade versions. I will say with the high grade ones, some of the sections aren't quite, well, the details you don't get quite as nice, and you'd have to pick between either a transformed state or an untransformed state, but both are great options. It's one of those kits which I saw wasn't really too sort of keen on paying the price for it. But I had a little look and I thought, no, I want to get one of these, have a little build of it and have it as a centre point, and I'm not disappointed. It is really nice to look at. Got it up on my shelf with my Sinanju and looks just the part. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Well, thank you again and see you next time.